Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi. We're on the bid 2020. Dude, we're coming to an end. 5 more episodes. Feels like we just started last week. But yeah, it's been good. Besides a freaking kind of large pimple on the bridge of my nose. Which is a horrible spot. I don't mind pimples. I don't really care, but if it's in a bad spot, that's annoying. I don't like it. But I'm sure it'll go away eventually. Um but yeah. Last time we finished the fragments were finished and we finally started the real year going forward. So like Hanyu was introduced as a person. Hanyu told Rika that Tata knows the enemy, and Rita's starting to plant these seeds of doubt in Irie and probably Tomotaki this episode. Asking friends for advice, who of course do well because they have high, at least Mion has high battle IQ and stuff like that. Smart fellows. So yeah, we're starting the battle. Lots of prepping before you go into the war though, and I'm sure we'll see some more Akasaka, some Tomodachi. I think from the preview I remember they were previewing the scene with Irie, Tomodachi, and Akasaka talking together with Rika, with Oishi. No, it was Akasaka. No. It was Irie, Tomodachi, and Rika, and then Akasaka and Oishi were like listening in, and then they joined. But we'll see. Let's get this episode started. This is again episode 20, Matsuri Bayashi Part 7, Trap. This is a full-length reaction, so you need your own copy of the episode. And on a 10 of 3, you will start your episode, and you should be perfectly synced up with mine. Probably. Maybe like a nanosecond off since I manually add the timer in post edit. So I also just time it from the button clip too. But I feel like I'm pretty accurate. No complaints yet. But yeah, you'll hear a button click. You can also just sync the start button to that. There will be a timer in the bottom right that will help you sync, or if you ever get out of sync, use that. And at the end of the episode, we will be doing a analysis review and comparison to the visual novels. So should be a good time. Hopefully you enjoy. And I will be starting the episode in 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, banter. Oh, I have banter. I do have banter. We'll do some analytical banter. So I did check the channel's analytics. I should be doing it more, but I end up checking it like twice a year. Basically just showing some interesting stats and facts. Obviously, they don't matter too much to me since we're a smaller channel, but there's some cool stuff. 85% of the audience, at least with the YouTube account, is male, which is expected. 15% female. Oh yeah, that's what it showed. You might not believe it, but there is a point in time very early on, like this, all the numbers always change, but there's a point where it's like 70% females, 30% males, but that was like so long ago, pre-Higurashi, I think, even. So I don't know, I don't remember why, but that's interesting. Top viewers from countries are USA, Saudi Arabia, Japan, and Indonesia. Indonesia is interesting because we haven't posted anything Indonesian yet, though that's coming next month. And USA is kind of interesting too. There's always been USA viewers, but it's been way more out of America. 70% of my viewers are not subscribed. Naughty. And the top growing video of the month, obviously it's a mix of rants and Higurashi, but the top viewing is my Team Rotatio video from a long ass time ago. Aging like wine, baby. 1,600 views. But yeah, anyways, some fun facts. Interesting stuff. Oh, they're already having the talk. Okay, I was literally just talking about this. Also, for tonight's drink, President's Choice Diet Lemonade. First time drinking. You're referencing that one fragment we saw. I like President's Choice though. And I like lemonade. Without any sugar. 5 calories. So good. Interesting way of the scene. In the visual novel, Tomotaki was a lot less cooperative. He was like, there's no way Takano would do that. But he seemed pretty chill. Though to be fair, I don't remember exactly everything. So I don't remember exactly what they cut out. Haji. I remember that. That was cute. This time he's not a meme. Right. This is actually something brought up earlier in the visual novel, the Alphabet Project, but I don't think they talked about that in the anime. It's basically like a nuclear program Japan had for a while, back when nukes were always being taunted. But obviously they couldn't make nukes, so they're looking for alternatives like, Mizawa syndrome. I do remember Tomotaki eventually getting on board, but I remember at first, obviously, it was like, there's no way. Ooh. This was a scene. I didn't really like this scene in the visual novel, so I'm just trying to see how they play it out now. It was just a weird character development for Oishi. Just because he did. Sorry. Oishi's more. Okay, so I kind of like that better. I should just talk about it for the analysis. I don't know why I stuck my tongue down. It's to make me stop talking over the scene, I guess. That was weird. Oh, that's what they skipped. So there's actually a scene where Satoko was listening in to the conversation because Rito was kind of. Oh, and they didn't talk about Akasata's plan. Hmm. We'll fill in the blanks that they missed. It's not too important, actually, though, besides Akasata's plan, but I'm sure they'll bring it up again later. Schwing! I love the pseudo schwings, bro. It was one of my favorite effects in the visual novel. Hey, this is the emote. The Teichi thumbs up thing from the Discord server. Cool. Love seeing the emotes in the anime. What is Hanyu wearing? That's new drip. I don't remember that in the visual novel. I thought she always just wore her school uniform. Could be wrong though. She might have had some casual clothes. Ow. Trying to think how this episode will play out. Where it'll end and stuff. I can't predict it though. My mind is muddled. Jesus. Don't show cursed Shion ever again. Eerie doing a little prodding here. Don't say it, Aiden. Restraint is a virtue. And this part always is like a kind of weirdly translated. Because again, Hifumi Takano and Mio Takano's names are spelled. The Takanos are spelled slightly different, so people wouldn't know they're related. But obviously, in the translation, they both just say Takano. Hoo, 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 hoo. Yep. Yeah, so Maybe they did explain Atlas Hatter's plan here, but I thought he had talked about it with Eerie and stuff in the meeting. It's probably just a double dip in the visual novel and cut it into one for the anime. Tomodachi is the king. If this was a chess game, well, I guess arguably it's Rika, but I feel like Tomodachi is the most important, to be honest. The Bloodhounds, dude. To be honest, it doesn't take much to be stronger than the Mountain Dogs. Oh man, I feel like next episode, it's down to be hype on hype on hype. But I'm not sure. That's just what I'm feeling. Oh yeah, this bit Satoko's the one who came up with that. Bruh, good thinking. It's a big brain plan. Halfway point. I feel like Akazaki needs to be more discreet. I mean, I guess peeking out the window is fine, but he was fully just showing his face. Same with opening the door. But I'm not a secret agent. I mean, Akasaka isn't either, but I mean, I guess he is sometimes undercover. Okay, so this is when they talk about the phone. I thought that. Okay. Maybe I'm just misremembering stuff. They did cut out the Satoko scene, though, for sure. It's a great idea. It adds a win condition without necessarily having Tomodachi. But to be fair, they can just kill Rika again after that. But I guess they need the perfect timing to make it a good political move. I always just found this like a weird arc for Oishi. Just isn't like watching Higashi. He was literally like telling other people, "Hey, if you're not ready to lose your retirement money or get fired, then don't join me." Like he didn't really care about this stuff before, so it kind of just felt like a weird plot development for Oishi. It's understandable, of course, but it just, you know, he's shown himself not caring about that before. Tomotaki knows that, I think. Ooh. 1 billion yen was 9 point something million in 2008 for the US. That was a big briefcase of money we saw him deliver earlier. I think. Maybe that was earlier though. Oh yeah, like this is a good plan, the 48-hour thing, but I always thought there was a glaring weakness which the enemy didn't immediately pick up on, but they kind of did. It's just the fact that Irie has been visiting them like every day to give them a checkup because they're sick, and then they just die. So they're like Irie's like super sus there. But yeah, I always found that interesting. They didn't jump on Irie right away. Like, what were you doing these past days that let them die? Or you being nice? Love to see it. Right? This with the CG. Remember the CG was always kind of stuffed because they gave Oishi a very square head for whatever reason. Akane looking good. Is that new drip? It's a nice analogy. It's probably not the same a bit since they kind of hated the Hojo's post Dam War. But it made sense, kind of. I like it. Those flowers sparkle. So when was he a detective? He's just a damn man, bro. Oh, that was the episode plus post credit probably coming up. Yeah, it was good. It was good. think it was accurate. Again, we're either next episode or the episode after, it's just gonna be hype for a long time. So obviously the anticipation to that is very high, but this was solid. Again, I'm not the greatest fan of the Oishi art, which is really weird, just because I'm actually a big fan of Oishi. He's been my favorite side character before I started liking Mio more, but it just seems like a weird plot line. I mean, it's important because, you know, we'll talk about it actually. It's probably what we're gonna be mostly talking about. Probably another short analysis, to be fair. Oh man, this lemon, I've been sipping this way too much, bro. This lemonade is so good, by the way, if you couldn't tell. I mean, obviously it has artificial sweetener, but I was gonna say it's so good without sugar. It's also carbonated, obviously. I love it. President's Choice performing as per usual. Good, good. Mr. Forensic and Kumadai. Maybe in the new anime Kumadai looks like I know him. But I've grown used to him by now. His haircut's kind of wild, to be honest, for in the 1980s, but I respect that about him. Unless that was actually a style. Actually, it looks normal now. Maybe I'm just tripping. I was thinking that. He didn't say that out loud. On you. On you. What are you doing? Okay. Good stuff. And we are done. Done. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. We're gonna head off to the review now. So welcome for any review only people. And goodbye for reaction only people. Solid episode. Again, I mentioned in the credits that I'm pretty sure the next 4 episodes are gonna be super exciting, and this and the last episode were more build-up episodes to that. Just, you know, finishing off some loose ends, some loose plot lines and stuff like that. So it's not the most exciting thing for me because there's no inherently like hype scenes, and since I know everything, it's a little less interesting for me. But I think they did a solid job, very accurate. Though I don't remember exactly everything, so. But okay, so first scene, the meeting. Obviously, Rika talked to Irie, and Irie got Tomotaki, and they're talking together. I think the first thing I noticed, because it's cut a bit, they did not, because in my memory, which could be wrong, Tomotaki was a lot more like rejecting of this idea. It's like there's no way Tomotaki should know to do that because obviously they're in a relationship. Until like Rika brought up some good points that someone's using Takano, and then Tomotaki remembers that Takano's been in like a pretty bad mood and she could easily be taken advantage of. Though that fragment wasn't actually shown in the anime. So guess you probably wouldn't be able to make that connection. Though I mean you could. They did show it, just not like they just didn't have the fragment that they did in the visual novel. But Rika did just say that like outright. So it's almost like they kind of skipped the first part of the conversation from the visual novel and just went to the latter part where they just convinced Tomodachi. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just something to point out. Then Oishi and Akasaka comes because they were obviously listening in. And then you get the cute HUD scene. You'd love to see it. The promise to help. And then we start the Oishi courage arc, or I don't know what you call it. This is in the visual novel, I was never really a fan of this, just because I found this whole idea of, oh, you know, we have the gang together, but Oishi's at risk of losing his retirement money, or at least severely reducing it, so maybe he shouldn't do it. I just found it like really redundant to his character, just because there's been examples of him, you know, putting his retirement money on the line, especially in Higurashi when they were kind of not elite, kind of illegally. They were definitely bordering on the laws for the Sonozaki house break-in. He even said to like his group that, hey, anyone who's worried about angry wives or retirement money, you can leave now. So obviously he didn't give a fuck back then. And I'm sure like stuff with in Higurashi when he was definitely kind of abusing his power towards Keiichi. I'm like you just never really got this feeling that Oishi was scared to lose his retirement money. Like he even mentioned himself that he's so desperate to find the murderer this year that he's willing to latch onto any idea and risk a lot for it. And just like now that he's kind of hitting a speed bump where he's hesitant because he doesn't want to lose the retirement money. It feels a little weird. Obviously, it's not like it's illogical. There is logical reasons, maybe because he's being told by Ire, Akasaka, Tomodachi, some grown adults that this situation might be too dangerous, especially Akasaka, who he considers a pretty good friend, I think, even though they barely met. They do have a nice friendship. You know, now that he knows it's not the Sonozakis, maybe he's a little more nervous, I guess, because the Sonozakis has been his main focus for the last couple years. Like there are reasons why. I'm just saying like if they showed this constant problem, I feel like throughout the story, like at least like, you know, Oishi's struggling with this idea where he wants to go really hard, but he's scared of losing his retirement. I think this would be like way more effective. But they're kind of just pulling this out of a pocket here, and it just, again, logically it fits. It just doesn't feel in character with his arc. That's it. I don't want to rant too much about it, but it was something I didn't really like. And I love Oishi. He's my second favorite non-club member character, and that's Takano. He was my first favorite for like the majority of Higurashi. I just really love this character of you know, because I love I would say Asian, but mainly Japanese and Korean like cop dramas, and there's always like a very popular type of character is like this older cop who, you know, he's not like corrupt. He does want to go for you know, catch the criminal, but he definitely bends the laws sometimes a bit too far to get to it. And I just love that kind of dirty but good cop. And Oishi always fit that bill for me, so I am a fan of him. I just didn't really feel like this was too necessary for me. Yeah. But anyways, that started. So they did skip a scene. I did mention that in a reaction. So after this, because I'm pretty sure Akasaka mentions that, oh, so Rika should be hiding out, and Akasaka will pretend to be Rika and live there. But they do mention that they skip that, but they do mention it later in the conversation. So avoiding a nice double dip. So I think that's fine to cut it. But obviously, because of that, Rika had to go, while she was going home, she had to think of an excuse to tell Satoka. Because obviously, if Hakusaka is just living there with Satoko, it's weird. But it turns out Satoko's been eavesdropping the whole time, and she was very supportive of Rika, and she convinced Rika to tell the friends. This is a nice contrast from Higurashi, where when Satoko heard the truth, she was freaking out, obviously, but in this episode, Satoko's been a lot less under stress, and yeah, it just shows their friendship is like, all right, and obviously in Higurashi, Satoko eventually gets over it and tries to save Rika, so Satoko's chill with it, and because of Satoko, then they go to meet the friend group where they reveal everything. But yeah, it's a nice scene for Satoko, why are you cutting my Satoko scenes? But it's not like something so major that I'm offended about or anything. So then we got the group meeting. I think this was pretty accurate from my memory. Some good energy, some good Satoko oh ho ho ho's with the swing effect. I love the swings. Then they come up with the 48-hour win condition, which is good. It's a smart plan because it ruins their plan, and obviously there still is the idea that, well, if they just kill Rika anyways, then they can just wait another 48 hours to do the plan, but it like really fucks up the timing, because even though they didn't mention this in the anime, I think it was during the talk when Nomura was talking to her other boss, they mentioned that it needs to be like perfectly in this time frame when some of the Tokyo members are away for vacation, to like create this maximum amount of damage for the opposing faction. So it is a time sensitive mission. But yeah, also my other thought was like the only like real weakness to the plan is that like Eri has been checking up on them every day, obviously giving Akasaka food and updates, and like when they just suddenly turn up dead, they're gonna, like, my idea was they're gonna suspect Eri right away, because like, what the fuck were you doing all these days checking them if they're already dead, right? And I think they mentioned that she died 48 hours ago, which doesn't make sense because I'm pretty sure Eri visited them like post death or something. Like, there was a very big hole in the plan that nobody really mentioned. And obviously, from memory, I don't think Takano's team finds that out immediately, but then eventually just goes after Eri because he's sus. But yeah, that's the only hole. They're lucky. Got a little Takano speech where Eri is kind of prodding out the situation for himself. Obviously, Takano's grandiose speech is enough for Eri. Meeting with Eri and Akasaka. They come up with the phone plan. Very smart that they found out the phone was bugged to make a code like that. And I believe it does fool them pretty good, so Oishi's still hesitant because, Tomodachi with the phone call. All of this is pretty accurate from my memory, so good stuff. Or you and Toizumi, not Toizumi. I always forget old man name. Old man with terrible hair. Forgive Satoko. You love to see it. Then you get the finale of the Oishi hesitating arc, where he meets Akane and Shion, and they finally squash the beef. Which is good. Again, this is an important plot point, Oishi's obsession with the Sonozakis, even though they didn't do it. You do like to see it ending in a good note. So it is one good thing I liked about the arc, but in general, I didn't really enjoy it. Then you got a little pep talk with the forensic investigator. He never gets a name, but he is a pretty common character in the series. And Kumagai, they're psyched for it, no hesitations. They love to see it. And ending off with Oishi hyping himself up in his head. But yeah, I mean, we kind of, I didn't want to seem too negative about the episode because I don't think it is. It's just like I don't really have much to talk about, to be honest. So you might as well focus on the small things. But yeah, like I said, good episode. I enjoyed it. And next episode should be a banger, so I'm excited for that. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And next time we start the final battle. But until then, see ya!